50, you're excited about being appreciated. All right, look at someone tonight and say, you're in the right place at the right time. Now, how many of you are ready to go to bed? Don't say that. Because the night is still young. And let's give a hand for education, wellness, and sports. All right. I was a teacher and a principal, so I wasn't happy with that clap. I want some more energy because it's all about education, wellness, sports, and looking good. Okay, thank you so much. How many of you are excited tonight? First of all, let's give a hand for Victor Harwood, the CEO and founder of this wonderful, wonderful event, Digital Hollywood. I am more excited, and thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being part of this wonderful event because it's about education. How many of you remember a teacher that impacted you? Hopefully it was a positive impact. So, in fact, you know, if you can remember their name, just look at somebody next to you and just tell them their name. Tell them the teacher's name. Okay, because of time, look at me. How many of you remembered your teacher's name that was just a great impact on you? Okay, I'm just going to give you a chance before I get pulled off stage. Tell me, who can yell, who wants to tell? Okay, sir, tell me the name of the teacher. Mr. Green. All right, give it up for Mr. Green. Hopefully you're doing productive things. Okay, very good. So we're glad for Mr. Green. And listen, all of us are here because it was someone that poured into us. And so we have a great deal to go through tonight to begin to honor, reflect, and also uplift those individuals who have not only been impacted, but are impacting others. And they're doing it regardless of the circumstances, regardless of the temperature or the climate of the day, regardless of political stance. They are here showing their impact. And so as you begin to eat, how many of you are enjoying the lettuce and the, okay, it's really good, right? We only do things top class here. We also want you to take an ear and listen to the voices that are not only going to come from our adults who are doing some magnificent work, but also from our scholars. Can everybody say scholars? Okay, so from here on out, if you've never called a student a scholar, please do that, because it is about speaking life into them. And I found out if you speak life into them and call them a scholar, no matter what their background has been, they will rise to that occasion. How many of you agree with that? And so real quickly, I had a student that was very challenging at the school. How many of you know what I mean when I say challenging? But guess what? I called him a scholar. How many of you were that challenged type? Okay. I called him a scholar, and do you not know he left as on the honor roll? So it's about speaking life into them. So we are going to sit back and listen because we're in for a positive night, and we have a lot of information to cover. And we want to certainly eat and be respectful of the time. And so as we begin, I think on no better note than to recognize the wonderful Andrew Whitworth, who is a 14-year NFL veteran and the captain of our NFC champion Los Angeles Rams. On the field, Andrew is one of the best tackles in the NFL and has been named a Pro Bowler 4 times throughout his career. And off the field, Andrew is one of the most charitable players in the NFL today. Last year was recognized as the Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, the NFL's most prestigious award that recognizes players for outstanding community service activities as well as excellence on the field. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know that although we see these sports players and athletes who are doing great things on the field, many of them have big hearts and are wanting to impact our community. And so at this time, please join me in welcoming Andrew Whitworth, captain of the Los Angeles Rams. Maybe a basketball player too. All right. That's it. Why do you have a seat right here? Okay. Okay, so we're gonna just have a little conversation here while you all are eating, if that is okay with you. We're just so glad that you have come.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. Thank y'all so much.
Let's give them another round of applause. So, of course, you've done many things, and we're very proud of what you're doing, and we believe it's very authentically done by yourself, and it's a part of who you are. So tell me, what inspires you?
You know, I think really for me, if I look back over my lifetime and really in the NFL, what has really brought me to the point of why community is important, I think it really originates from home, and that my mother was a school teacher for 35 plus years, and I got a chance as a little kid to go up to her school and watch her do her thing and watch her be involved in kids' lives and make impact on people, and not only that, but throughout the community growing up, I'd run into people that worked somewhere and they'd be, you know, your mother taught me, and they'd have such fond memories and things like that, and I think it was something that just always stuck out to me, that she made a difference in these people's lives, even though it's something to me I never really would have known about those relationships had it not been they shared with me the impact she made. And so I think for me, just those little things started to kind of like be in my ear in high school and college as I grew up, what kind of impact I wanted to have on people. And you know, I think 14 years later of playing in the NFL and getting a chance to do tons of opportunities to be in the community. I think it's just as much something I cherish every single opportunity I get today as I did then.
So tell me about the Big Wit Foundation and program and work that you're doing with that.
Yeah, when I I originally started my career in Cincinnati, Ohio. I was drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals in 2006. And I had the opportunity a couple years in when I was getting married that my wife and I were just kind of talking about things we'd want to do, and one of the big things is that we wanted an opportunity to give back to where both of us were from. And so in North Louisiana, I started a foundation called the Big Wit Foundation, and we really started the program with mentoring. And so my big thing was like, I always am one of those people that I try to take everything I go through in life and I say, hey, what are some little things that I wish somebody would have told me, or some things that I wish I'd have known? And I just said, you know what, I want an opportunity to give that back to some high school kids. And so we started a mentor program where we literally had every high school senior could apply, and we'd have just a mentor conference leadership weekend where they could come to that, and then after that process, they could apply to our foundation for a scholarship to college. And so we would give them a monetary award, obviously, for winning the scholarship. We'd give them some books, different things on leadership that they could read and kind of understand, and kind of wanted kids that were, kind of a mixture of all, that wanted to figure out what leadership was and then also wanted to be leaders possibly. And so it really was something that over, now almost 12 years of doing it, I've learned as much from these kids as I feel like we've had impact on them. It's the opportunity to sit down in front of young people and hear what's on their hearts and minds and understand what they're going through today compared to what they were 12 years ago. It's never stops being refreshing to really realize, hey, you know what? Here's some things that I need to think about when we try to make an impact. And so for us, over 12 years of doing that, and now giving out over 200 or 300 scholarships now, it's been amazing to just be a part of those kids' lives.
You're doing so much. I'm often trying to figure out how you balance it all, because now you're in Watts. You have given away books, you've given away over 600 bicycles and helmets, and you've given $50,000, and I mean, you have done so much, even with the I Have a Dream Foundation, and just helping underserved students and schools. How do you have time, and why have you focused on education as your priority?
Well, I think it starts with our youth and our young people, and you know, all of us sit there at home, and whether you have kids or not, and families, you worry about a lot of things you see go on in the world today, and a lot of things that are impacting our kids, our high schools, our communities, you know, even as adults. And to me, that starts from the bottom. It starts with the foundation that people live in and of who they are and how they do things. And so investing in elementaries and going around to schools and having that opportunity to just make sure those kids know one more person tells them they love them, one more person tells them they believe in them, one more person tells them they can achieve what they want. To me, you know, that there's nothing more gratifying in my life than to just see one kid put a smile on their face and realize somebody cares. And if you go in these homes enough and you go in these schools enough, you'll realize how much of a need is for it. And to me, everyone, there's a place for it, and I believe that. I believe there's a place for debate about the best way to do things. I believe that there's systems that people need to help these things streamline better. But the most important thing I believe is that my hands and feet do a lot better than my mouth does. And so investing my actual time and investing my effort and energy of getting up off the couch and not saying things need to be better, but actually investing that I'm going to take my time when I have free time to go actually try to make things be better for these young people. That to me is something that it drives me. It's a passion of mine.
It's a passion. And it's obvious. It's obvious. I can feel your energy. I can feel your passion. And you talk about getting off the couch. You really got off the couch last Saturday with the United Way's 5K walk to end homelessness. I don't know how you do it all. Is that another passion of yours?
Yeah, I mean, I think really just the opportunity to make a difference. I mean, make an impact. I mean, I think that if I look at, you know, my lifespan and football is cool, it's great. It gives me a lot of unique opportunities. I've won championships. I've won different things throughout the league of accolades. I've won a national championship in college. I won a lot in high school. That's all good and it's great. But at the end of the day, I mean, my impact of life, I would hope, would be a lot bigger than, you know, what I could do in a sports arena. Because at the end of the day, that's something I was blessed to be able to do with the talents and abilities. Obviously, I had to work hard, but you know, really something that just took my heart and my drive to care about something bigger than myself. That's something I really want to be known for. And I think so the impact to go do that, to make something bigger than it is just about me, was important. And then to have the opportunity, all four of my kids got to come with me and do the walk as well, just to kind of show them what's going on. I think that that's super important too, because I've said this multiple times. You know, I lost a Super Bowl in February, but the most important thing to me in my life was not winning a Super Bowl. It's that, you know, Sarah Elise Whitworth, Andrew James Whitworth, Michael Lee Whitworth, and Catherine Kay Whitworth treat people, love people, and handle people the right way in their life, and that people are proud of who they are as people more than anything in the world, and that's the thing that means the most to me.
Now, Andrew did something just, I don't know, kind of unheard of. Last year, after the wildfires, especially after big mass shootings, he took his entire game check and donated it to a family who were victims of mass shooting, or at least a family member was. That is, you know, I'm still trying to wrap my head around. You took your entire game check. Let me just share something with you. I believe in role models, and I know many of you as well. But I would certainly say you are a real model.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, I think on that, I think it's something I encourage young kids to realize too, and even fellow players. I mean, the cool thing of playing as long as I have is I could be a big brother, and I'm getting close to being a dad to some of the guys I play with on a football team. So as far as just the age difference, but you know, it's neat because it's fun for me to explain to them that to look less at people and think things they want to look up to, look less as role models and look at characteristics and say, hey, you know what? This person right here is really successful in business. They're really successful in Hollywood. They're really successful as an athlete or a doctor, a teacher. You know, what is it about that person that you see that you go, hey, you know what? That's what's unique about them. That's what makes them special. Because the truth is, we all fail. We all make mistakes. We all have things that hinder us every day. Our pitfalls that, like, you know what? That's what we're always trying to work to overcome. But if these kids can see, like, hey, you know what? Don't make out people to be perfect and that I have to be like them. Be yourself. but find the characteristics that you can find from other people that help them, and maybe that's something you can add to your game and your repertoire to help you be the most successful you can be at whatever you do. So to me, that's one of those things when you say a role model, it makes me a little scared, but it's the truth. Like, I hope that people look at certain things and say, hey, you know what, that's something I would love to be a part of, and that's something I get the opportunity with the guys I mentor to really be a part of their lives and encourage them in that way.
Thank you for that. I want to ask, yes, go ahead, please. You know, listening to you, I can, like I said, I can feel your energy and your passion, and it's very authentic and organic. My last question to you, because you've done so much, so many great things, and I talked to Molly Higgins here, the Vice President of Community Affairs for LA Rams. Is she in the house? Where's Molly? There you go. Let's give Molly a hand. Who has done many wonderful things for students in schools all over Los Angeles. What do you feel is going to be your legacy? When people say Andrew Whitworth, what do you want them to think about?
Well, you know, I think honestly for me, it doesn't matter if it's my family, if it's my friends, if it's guys I played with, you know, people I've affected through the community. I hope it's just that he had a positive impact on my life. I mean, to me, that's, you know, the greatest thing you can do. If it's one little tiny thing you did that just, you know, it turned somebody around, or it gave them a thought or a process to walk out of something and go, you know what, I can do that, or I can achieve what it is I want to. To me, that's the greatest thing. I mean, I had the opportunity when we went through the shootings, you know, really at our facility, the shootings were really close to us at the Rams facility. And that was also happened to be that afternoon was the fires that obviously all of us had to go through. And I had the opportunity to speak to the team that day. And Coach McVay had just said, hey, you know what, of all people, like you're a guy that we lean on a lot for these things. You know, if you want the opportunity, I'd love for you to say something to the guys. And so I got an opportunity to talk to them. And one of the things I told them is, and this is what I think is cool about sports, is that different than most jobs where you're, you know, in every job there's stress, in every job there's a fight for achievement, in every job it's a process, right? And what's cool about sports that I think it gravitates people to is that there's also, you know, you get to literally watch, like whereas you might compete with a company, you don't necessarily square off with a company. So in sports, you literally, you're playing against each other, and you're watching two forces that are great at what they do and both trying to achieve, and the error for mistake is so small. Right. And it's like you watch them go at it, and you watch them compete and take on each other, and they're tired and they're exhausted, and Michael Jordan plays through the flu, and a football player plays through an injury, or a tennis player plays through heat exhaustion, just all the things that you watch them play, and you can see yourself struggling through the victory they're trying to achieve. Right. And so I encourage the guys that, man, what a great example every single one of us could be for a time like this in our community, because what we do, people see us struggle all the time. So if we can just be strong, if we can make a difference on the football field, if we can make a difference in the community, you will never regret doing something for somebody else. If you make something about less than yourself, and you just say, hey, in a time of tragedy, you know what, I'm going to just do something for somebody. I'm not going to like waste all my time worrying about the perfect thing to do. I'm just going to do something to try and make a difference. I just thought that was important for them to hear, because I think sometimes we get so worried about what's the perfect system to fix something, when the reality is just us putting our hearts and our hands and our efforts into something is going to make it better, because it's infectious, and we all start to feed off of each other. And it's just like sports, and that one guy gets hot or one guy makes a play, and next thing you know, that team's momentum and their energy starts to surge in a certain direction. You know, our community can be the same way, but it just takes all of us stepping out in that way, moving forward together.
His name is Andrew Whitworth, and you're certainly doing much more than something. Let's give him another big round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Come on, let you get out. Thank you so much. Oh, you look great. That's right. Okay. Oh, that's right. Sir, at this time, thank you. At this time, certainly we appreciated your words, but more than that, we appreciate your spirit. And just something small on behalf of Digital Hollywood and all of us who are here who have been impacted by your words, but more than that, your actions. You have been the recipient of the Dr. Jacqueline Sanderlin Visionary Award in recognition of outstanding achievement in community service. Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you. Oh, we can give them one more applause. Thank you so much. At this time, we're going to see a video by Snoop Dogg. Listen, we appreciate Snoop Dogg for doing this very last minute, and we would like to honor him with an award. He does so much in the community, so much to help wellness with his sports programs. He's doing so much in between what he does. And I believe we have Dee Dee Hayes. Is she here this evening? Dee Dee Hayes, if you would come and please receive the award. She's also oversees the Platinum Plus Scholars Program. Also works very closely and on the board of directors with Snoop Dogg, and we appreciate you. And
thank you so much. And on behalf of Snoop Dogg and the Snoop Youth Football League, we would like to give our thanks, and hopefully the marathon continues. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so now we're going to hit into our mini round tables. And as we are starting, we're going to have the first one, which is Entertainment, Sports, and Wellness Visionaries Outreach to the Community. Please come up and welcome Dawn Wilcox, Vice President of Corporation Partnerships with Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. Carrie Patterson, Chief Operations Director, We Charity. And it's okay for you to clap. Carrie Parker from Anthem Entertainment. Victoria Lanier, Executive Director, Education through Music Los Angeles. Claire Fox, Executive Director of the Los Angeles Food Policy Council. And this panel, this esteemed mini roundtable will be led and moderated by our own Bryce Llewellyn from Community Impact Director and Chef, American Heart Association. Let's give him a hand.
It's like a party. It's like a cocktail party.
That's all right. Good evening, everyone. I'm hearing my grandmother in my voice, in my head. She used to say, "Can you just be short-winded, and not long-winded?" And I know we're pressed for time. Give it up for these ladies here. Now, this is a true testament that women run the world, right? So I'm glad to be here and be the moderator. I'm going to start at the end and have each lady introduce themselves again, your role, and just kind of a little bit about what you do.
Awesome. I'll kick it off. Good evening, everyone. Are you enjoying dinner? Awesome. Thank you, Bryce, and thank you to Victor and Dr. Jackie for the invitation to have us here. I'm Claire Fox. I am the Executive Director of the Los Angeles Food Policy Council. We are a nonprofit organization created by the City of Los Angeles back in 2011 with a mission to make food healthy, affordable, accessible, sustainable, and fair. No small feat, right? And we really believe every community deserves access to good food. And when we talk about good food, we're talking about food that's nutritious, that's safe, that's culturally relevant, and also is grown with respect for people and respect for the planet. So I just want to highlight one example of what we mean by that, because that's quite a lofty mission. But just to make it really tangible for you all, this last Saturday, we celebrated a ribbon cutting at a community farm in South LA. This community farm, where it is now, it has an education center, it has a child play area, and it's growing abundant food in a neighborhood that's considered a food desert. In other words, in the entire neighborhood, you can't find fresh food. You won't find adequate grocery services. You won't find a farmer's market. But here now is this beautiful farm, this beautiful oasis where once was a vacant lot. And this vacant lot was there for decades, literally collecting trash. The community identified this lot and said, how can we farm this land? How can we make it beneficial to our community? And just to give you a sense of how policy, LA Food Policy Council, can help, we passed a policy a couple years ago called the Urban Agriculture Incentive Zone Policy, which provides tax incentives to turn vacant lots into urban farms. And so we're thrilled to celebrate with County Supervisor Mark Ridley Thomas, with City Council Member Curran Price, this ribbon cutting, which really shows, I think, how policy comes to life in communities. One other small example is that we work with mom and pop corner stores. So I painted a picture for you of food desert conditions, right? Not enough access to healthy food, that's gonna have a lifelong impact on people's well-being, right? Our zip code should never determine how long you live and what kind of health outcomes you experience. That's a result of structural racism, that's a result of unequal access to opportunity and resources, so that's the issue we have to fix. So what do? We partner with small businesses that are already in the community and help them become healthy food providers. We work with mom and pop corner stores and neighborhood markets so that they can transform their entire business in a sustainable way to bring healthy food to their communities. Why is this important? Well, obviously they're bringing fresh and healthy food options where there wasn't any before, but also it builds the local economy and it builds wealth for communities. So we're looking to change conditions from the ground up.
Thank you, Claire.
Awesome.
Appreciate it.
Hi everyone, I'm Carrie Parker. I'm CEO of Branding and Entertainment for Anthem Communications. We run 2 radio stations across the country, and we also have a new magazine that was launched this year. So my role is pretty much going out with young adults and teaching them how to brand themselves successfully and safely. Those are one of the biggest things that I saw where there was a gap. And so that's what my firm does. We go out to high schools. Actually now we're going out to junior high, because with the digital age you have individuals out there doing things, and these kids are actually getting paid to post. So we have to teach them how to safely brand themselves, and engage individuals out there in the digital age, out there in the world all over. So that's what we do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Victoria Lanier, founder and executive director of Education Through Music Los Angeles. I'm a mom of 2, and it's my littlest son's birthday today. He's 4. Yes, happy birthday, Luke. We believe that every child deserves to have a holistic education that includes music and the arts. And we have seen the transformation across our schools. This is about giving children dignity, and we can do that when we give them every opportunity to succeed. It's about their health, their mental wellness, their ability to have self-confidence. One quick story, a school out in Compton, McKinley Elementary, they didn't have music 3 years ago. We started a music program, every child getting sequential comprehensive music as part of the well-rounded education. We believe it's a subject in school. In that 1 year, they went from 21 out of 21 schools to #1 in attendance after 1 year, and #2 and 3 in math and English, and they said it was music, so that's something to clap about. Thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. I was telling you, I grew up as a music geek. I'm telling my age now, but I used to turn around the album covers. Anybody remember albums? And the young people were like, what is he talking about? And look at who the arranger was, where the record label was, who was the producer, etc.
Love it.
Carrie.
Hi everyone, my name is Carrie Patterson. I'm the Chief Operations Director of We Charity, and essentially my role is to oversee our We Schools program. We're in over 20,000 schools now globally, and what we do is we give teachers free resources and tools to embed service learning into the classroom. And so it's basically for the students to be doing one local and one global cause. And so last year alone, our students actually gave to over 5,000 organizations, whether that was volunteer volunteering, donating food, in kind, raising money, whatever the cause is. But last year, I'm proud to report across North America, we gave back our students. This is youth choice, youth voice, gave to social impact value of $265 million to our communities. And it's all about the educators empowering service learning right into the classroom. And what we know about when you embed service learning into the classroom, you're going to see increased academic engagement, increased workplace and college readiness, and increased global citizens. And these are all things we need of our students and our children of the future. So,
Thank you, Carrie.
Hi, good evening. My name is Dawn Wilcox, and I oversee corporate partnerships for Children's Hospital Los Angeles. It's not just working with corporations to raise money and awareness for Children's Hospital, but I also oversee Hollywood Cares for Kids and All Stars for Kids, and that's the work we do with the sports and entertainment industry to bring special experiences and opportunities for the patients at Children's Hospital. So we are very blessed to work with a number of athletes and teams that are represented here in this room tonight, as well as the Hollywood and sports community to support the work we do at Children's Hospital. That's awesome.
Thank you, Dawn. Appreciate. Give them a hand again. So this next question, before I get into it, we have about 7 minutes or so left. So this next question, I kind of thought about it when I was developing. It was because I was in the barber shop. Don't laugh. You know, I do get a shave or something. And I mean, the barber shop is where men go to talk. So ladies, it's our beauty salon. And the song, everybody remember the song Happy from Pharrell? Like 6 million sold, top selling record in 2014. And one of the patrons of the guy in the barbershop said, man, this song, it doesn't even sound like the energy of it doesn't sound like it sounded like 5-6 years ago. Like the energy of the country has shifted. So it doesn't even sound like the same song. And I was like, wow, that's a great observation. So what I wanted to know from you ladies, and I'll start with Dawn and then we can go down the line, is like, what has changed in your world, in the landscape? Like 1 or 2 things, whether it's good or bad, or just observational that you can share with your work.
Sure. So one thing I've noticed, I've been in the world of cause marketing and corporate partnerships for about 24 years now, and everyone has gotten really good at it. People, consumers, companies, charities, everyone has become incredibly savvy about how to promote their cause. And of course, thanks to social media, you now have the ability to run your own fundraisers, promote your own charity, and educate people about a cause you care about. So while I think, that's been an incredible benefit, I think it also challenges those of us that are at large nonprofit organizations about how do we keep our message front and center? How do we keep people caring when there's so much information out there? But I see it as an opportunity because now we have children doing fundraisers, we have marathon runners doing their own fundraisers on social media, so it's been an incredible thing to see happen.
Just open the landscape. It's always said like there's so much information out there that sometimes you can get lost. But the issue, the great thing about it, like you said, is that even a young person at 11 or 12, if they have a cause that they're passionate about, they can actually rally people around that. Right? Thanks for sharing that, Carrie.
Yeah, so we are able to give all of our resources for free to educators because of corporate partners. And what I can say what changed is whether it's Microsoft or Allstate or any corporate partner, Walgreens that works with us, it used to be just because they wanted to do good, and now they're aligning everything with their corporate social responsibility. So it's a lot. So we actually individually, what I call partner architecture, we work with every individual corporation to come up with what they care about, what the employee engagement plan is, and how we can draft a very unique partnership to meet their needs. So, for instance, we volunteer now with Allstate because Allstate cares about volunteering, and we do technology and access. So how do you use technology for good with Microsoft, because that's what they care about. So how do you tailor uniquely to every corporate partner? And I think that's the difference, is that exactly what you said, is that corporations care so much more about the impact because everyone's doing it so well. So how can you uniquely differentiate yourself with each corporate partner?
Yeah, thank you for that, Karen. So really paying attention, be an active listener and paying attention to what is important to that particular partner. Victoria.
So I started teaching inner city schools, music education, 1999, and So I've been in this space for 20 years, and I'll say the stories of my students back then resonate the same today, and I'm glad, like Donna said, there's digital marketing and social media has allowed these stories to come to the spotlight. But I think more than ever, we need to continue to invest in our education systems and our teachers, in seeing music and arts teachers as vital to the ecosystem of education. And we need to do more to support the success of educators in our schools.
Thank you, Victoria. Gary and Claire, we have about a minute left, so you guys split the time up. I know you can do it.
Oh gosh. Okay, two quick things. I'll do it in 30 seconds. One, I just want to give some shine to Bryce and American Heart Association. Yes, Bryce is amazing. We're lucky to have him right here as our moderator. But a concept you talk about beautifully is, it's a wonky idea, but it's social determinants of health. So in other words, it's not just about the food you put in your mouth, although that's important, and it's not just about being able to work out at a public park, but it's the entire environment that you grow up in, right? So I said that idea of our zip code shouldn't determine how long we live, right? The neighborhood environment, but that's actually the truth. Where we grow up impacts our health. And that is impacted by class, that is impacted by race and the history of this country. And so that's how we need to shift conditions. So this idea of social determinants of health, I think, has really cropped up and been an important indicator. And then the second thing that I've really observed is the importance of authentic community engagement in shaping change. So policy, it's not enough to just do policy. It actually has to be led by community members who experience firsthand what it's like to live in a food desert or what it's like to live on food stamps. So that's where we're moving, where we launched the Food Leaders Lab program to train community residents in policy advocacy so that they can advocate for themselves about what they know that their communities need.
Thank you, Claire. We'll close it out.
Oh, absolutely. Well, one of the things in my industry that I found is that our clientele is getting younger and younger. Our average clientele the age average was 24 to 46. Now my youngest client is 9. Their parents want to know, how can I brand my child? Can I copyright my child's name? So with this digital age, everyone wants to know, how can I brand myself and make money? My child doesn't need to do a 9 to 5. So that's one of the shifts that I see. Families actually looking to brand themselves, they want to be the next Kardashians, or that thing. So it's very interesting. Our clients are getting younger and younger.
That's powerful. Let's give these ladies a hand. You can do better than that. I know you. And we have a token of appreciation that's in front of you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And we got the next panel coming up.
Thank you, Bryce.
Thank you.
And before you leave, Victoria from Education Through Music, we have one of your principals here who just wants to say a thank you. Mr. Mike Perez, Inglewood Unified School District.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. I'm one of the recipients from Education Through Music, through Victoria's program, that has transformed our school. It really brought wellness, vision, and an appreciation for the arts that we lacked. And thanks to you and your leadership, it's expanding throughout Inglewood Unified. And it is, yes, let's give it up. And really, the joy it has, I am testament here, it has brought up attendance. And it even brought up grades, because kids are there learning and they're looking forward to, when is music? When is music? We have TK students all the way up to 5th grade, and our 5th graders now, a year into the program, are playing ukulele. And she was at one of our parent meetings where they had the choice, band or string orchestra, and she came and gave our parents a music lesson, and they all decided string. So thank you so much for being part of our lives. And really, Dr. J, everyone needs to have a Dr. J in their lives. I call her my patriot saint. She has given so much to our district and really is a visionary for student growth and achievement. So thank you, Dr. J.
Thank you so much. I'll pay you later. All right, let's give a hand for these wonderful ladies. Come on, women are ruling the world.